Hey guys, Joy here, and I wanted to do a quick book tag video for you guys today, something that'll go really fast, that I can just give you a snap answer and not have to explain myself for it. The book tag I decided to do for you guys today is the A to Z book tag. So without further ado, let's just get started. Author you've read the most books from. There's so many authors I've read most of, but the one who I've read like the most books is Richelle Mead. I read all of her Vampire Academy books. I think there's 6. Then I read the spin-off series, the Bloodline series, which I believe also has 6 books. Best sequel ever. Now this is very hard. Are we talking about the second book or just a sequel in a series in general? Because if we're talking about any best sequel, I have to look at my shelf for this. I have a few, but the one I recently read that I felt was like the best sequel to a series or trilogy was Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I absolutely adore this trilogy. I'm not much of a sci-fi reader, as you guys know. I felt like this was well done and written. If you don't know about the Illuminae Files trilogy, they're kind of written differently than any other book I've ever read. They're case files and surveillance and chat. I feel like that's what really captured my attention because we don't see a lot of books written in this style, and some people like it, others don't, but for me it was one of my favorite things. The reason why I feel like this was one of the best sequels that I've read so far is because we do follow different characters, Hannah and Nick. Hannah is such a strong female character. Nick is the classic bad boy but with a good heart, and he does not pretend to be an asshole. Like, he's such a gentleman with Hannah, but with everybody else he's an asshole. So that's one of the things I really loved. Like, it did not follow that whole I fell in love with a bad boy but he's such a dick to me. Like, it doesn't follow that, and I really loved it. But it just took a whole Doctor Who turn that I really loved, and you all know me, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I made the list for one of my favorites in 2018. And it was just so fantastic to read. If you want to know more of my thoughts about this book, I have a book talk right over there. It is spoilery, so make sure you've read the book before you watch it. Currently reading. A few books I'm currently reading right now is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. It doesn't have the dust jacket because obs, I'm reading it, but I am almost done with it. I'm on page 303, so I have about 20 chapters left. If you guys watched my books I'll probably never read, this series was on the list. So many books that were on that list I decided to actually read in 2018. I don't know what made me change my mind, and I even got Reaper back there, so you know how you do. I mean, I did like it the first time around. It wasn't one of my favorites, which was one of the reasons why I didn't want to continue in the first place with the series, but I did hear the Reaper got so much better to really, you know, push through, and this time around I'm liking a little bit more, but not enough to consider it being a masterpiece or actually raising the rating. I am enjoying it a little bit more this time around too. And the second book I'm reading is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. If you do not know who Karen is, she wrote the One of Us is Lying book, which was one of my favorites for 2017. I really enjoyed her writing. I really enjoyed the way she took the story, and I thought I should give her other book a chance. Now this is an ARC. I got it from work. The book is already out. I am torn between finishing reading it through the ARC or just going to the store buying the regular copy. I mean, I haven't read a lot of ARCs, so I don't know how much difference there is from an ARC to a finished copy. For this one, it's really good. I'm on chapter 2. So, you know, whenever I get sick of high fantasy or if I'm not in the mood to read a fantasy, I'm doing a contemporary mystery thriller. We follow our main character, and I believe her name is Ellery, and she has a twin brother. Her mom is kind of like a drug addict or an alcoholic, and since her and her twin brother are underage and her mom got in some trouble, they are sent to live with their grandmother. Now the town that they're going to live in is built on secrets. Something bad happened a few years back. The day Ellery and her twin brother arrive at their grandmother's town, they find a dead body on the road. So that ensues the whole who did it, what's going on, what's the mystery behind here. I'm still a little unsure as to where the story's going. Drink of choice while reading. This is hard because I do drink a lot of things while reading. I didn't think about that. One of the things I do drink a lot when I'm reading is coffee. Obviously, I can't go a day without drinking coffee. Might as well drink it while I read. Another thing I drink a lot while reading is water, because really you need to hydrate. E-reader or physical book? This is a debate that has been since the caveman era. I can imagine cave people fighting over a physical book or an e-reader, even though e-readers didn't exist back then, but I really have that image in my head of that happening. I do not prefer one or the other. I love both. Fictional character you probably would have dated in high school. Oh, that is very interesting. Let me remember who I dated in high school. And let me see, who would that be though? In the books I read, who would that be? You know what? I'm gonna go with my bae, Ron Weasley, because Ron Weasley has similar personality traits to someone I dated in high school. So I feel like he is the most likely option. For all of you who don't know, Ron Weasley is my husband, and we did have a rough patch in Deathly Hallows when he kissed Hermione, but he has apologized for it and I have forgiven him. Glad you gave this book a chance. Oh my god, what is the title? I read it last year and it was one of my faves. I think it's The Bird and the Song, or The Sword and the Bird. So a book I was super glad to give a chance was The Bird and the Sword by Amy Harmon. As soon as the narrator started the book, I realized that this was going to be a really good book, not only because of the story, but because the narrator was so fantastic. Her voice was so soothing, it was calm. You wouldn't know it, but when things got really hard or very intense, her voice, though it was low and smooth, would rise up to the occasion, and I think that made it a million times more better. Putting the narrator aside now, the story was fantastic. It talks about the power our words have. It's not a story where I could explain to you everything that I felt while reading it. It's a story you have to read yourself and experience it. It was that magical. And there's not a lot of books out there who have that concept. Hidden gem. So I'm assuming this is a book that's not widely popular, you know, it's like a book that you just got out of nowhere and it's just like, whoa, fantastic. I guess for this one, I'm gonna go with one that I always seem to be drawn to when I talk about a hidden gem or a underhyped book, and that is Angel Fall by Susan E. This is a post-apocalyptic world. We follow our main character, Penryn. We are in this world where angels have taken over and they're trying to get rid of the human race. It's just a fantastic story and I really enjoyed it. I really do recommend this book. Important moment in your life. Like what does that mean? What does that mean? Is that like a book that I read when something happened in my life? Because I have a book for that, and there's a reason why I haven't finished that series, because it brings up that memory. So this book has a lot of significance. I can't say that word, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't finished this series. And the book I'm talking about is Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I've talked about it a little bit. I have a video about reading a book similar to my experience. When I was reading this book, we got a call that my brother had died in a car accident. So when we got the call, I was reading this book, and I did force myself to finish this book, but every time I look at this book, I can't help but remember when we got the call. And that is one of the reasons why I haven't finished this series. Just finished. So the last book I just finished was, I think, a week ago. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the title, but this is a book I was a beta reader for. Again, kinds of book you won't read. Now this is a little weird because I am starting to read a lot of books now. Like I'm starting to read a lot of poetry, I'm starting to read a lot of biographies, non-fiction type of books. And those were some genres I never really liked before, but for now, for some reason, I'm really drawn to. But one genre that I know for sure that I would never read is erotica. I have nothing against it, but I feel like erotica is like way over the top. Longest book you read. The position for longest book used to go to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. But since then, Kingdom of Ash came out, and that book is like 1,000 pages long. So the longest book I ever read was Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Major book hangover because of ... Kingdom of Ash. Once I finished that book, I was already in a slumpy mood, but Kingdom of Ash came out and I was like, it's all the rage. This is what I've been waiting for all year. I'm gonna read it. After all the tears, all the emotions, I was like, what do I do with myself now? And I did try to read, and when my coworker suggested I read Ella Enchanted, that book is like 190 something pages. I could have gotten through it in like 4 hours because I am a slow reader. But no, it took me literally the entire month of December to finish Ella Enchanted. Number of bookcases you own. I own 2. I own this one and I own one that's right over there. A book you have read multiple times. A book that I've recently started reading a lot, and I practically have been reading it every year since it came out, is Salt to the Seas by Ruta Sepetys. It's one of my all-time favorite books. Preferred place to read. And that one is either on my reading chair, which is currently full of clothes, so I'm not going to show you that, or on my bed. Quote that inspires you, gives you all the feels from a book. I do have a lot of favorite quotes, but one that always gives me chills, that I even want to get a tattoo, but I'm not sure when to get it, is I have hated words and I have loved them. And I hope I have made them right. And that is from The Book Thief. Reading regret. A book I regret reading. Okay, that's totally easy. I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika L. Sanchez. I'm not even going to go into it because I honestly hate that book so much. Series you started and need to finish. You know what? I was going to say something. I started looking for a book, but then I changed my mind because I will have a specific video for this. 3 of your all-time favorite books. It's going to be hard. Okay. Salt to the Seas, The Book Thief. I'm going to go with one that I don't really talk about that much, and that's What Happened to Goodbye by Sarah Dessen. Unapologetic fangirl for Vampire Academy. Vampires are so out. Nobody talks about them anymore. Everybody hates them now. The vampire craze is over. But I still love my Vampire Academy peeps, so I read that book whenever I get a chance or whenever I feel in the mood. So I will always fangirl for Vampire Academy. Very excited for this release more than all the others. I have not been following any of the bookish news lately, so I don't know what books are coming out this year. If Sabaa Tahir is having the last book of the An Ember in the Ashes book out this year, then that's the one I'm more excited for. Worst bookish habits. I guess my worst bookish habit would be to eat messy foods while I'm reading. I'm constantly eating Cheetos, or I'm eating soups, or drinking things that will make droplets of water and it'll fall on my book. X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your shelf and pick the 27th book.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
27th book is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. Have not read this book. It is one of the series I want to read this year. I'm not sure if it has been finished or if the last book comes out this year. All I know is that I started reading it a few years back. The beginning is really slow and people have said it gets better, so to really push through that. Your latest purchase. My latest purchase is Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. This is one of the most popular books in Barnes & Noble right now. Like, people have been buying it left and right. People have been asking me, do you have a copy of Rachel Hollis' book, Girl Wash Your Face? I've been gravitating towards books that I don't normally read for some reason, but now I am starting to feel interested in. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive, mostly because the water thing is red. Last question. Snatcher. Last book that kept you up way late. I guess the last book that really kept me up way late is Kingdom of Ash, because I really wanted to get through it as fast as I could and I couldn't put it down. That is all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments below which other book tag videos you want to see from me. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!